everyone, welcome back to another video. So today is going to be all about foundations and my top picks for drugstore foundations that I really enjoy wearing that look really good on the skin. I say in the title mature skin, but these foundations can really be for anybody. So let's just jump right into it. So the foundations I've chosen today really can be used, like I said in the introduction, by anybody. The reason that I'm kind of saying also for mature skin is because these are my absolute favorite for how well they blend on the skin. They don't settle into fine lines, and some of them have a little bit of a serum in them to kind of give you that dewiness if you do like that kind of foundation. And what I'll first start off by saying is I am 51 years old. I have more, I'm going to say more of like a normal to dry skin, more on the dry end of that. And I also have a little bit of sun damage. You can call it hyperpigmentation. I do have that on my cheeks. I've covered up a little bit today with some concealer. But yeah, I do have those skin issues. I definitely, you know, wrinkles around my mouth and around my eye area, on my forehead. So I really try and watch the foundations that I put on my skin so it doesn't sink into those areas. Before I put any foundation on, I always start with primer. And if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I always start off with a primer. I'm just going to show you a couple that I use. I have a few other ones, but these are two of my favorites. And this is a new find for me. So I'm really, really liking this one that I'm going to show you. So the first one I like is the NYX Studio Perfect. This is the Photo Loving Primer, and it's just a clear, transparent type. But I like this for, it's almost like a little bit of like a gel going onto your face. So I tend to have more larger pores in this area right here. So this fills them in really, really nicely. And this one actually I just started using like within the last couple of weeks. It's the Revlon Prime Plus. But you guys, oh my goodness, it is very brightening. So when you do put it, if you do like that kind of look, you put it on. I let it sink in a little bit for about, 2-3 minutes. And then when I've gone in with my foundation, I can't believe how well it leaves my foundation. It is kind of like a tacky feel. It's one of the few that I've tried lately that actually kind of gives you a bit of tackiness on your face. It's going to help your foundation stay on longer throughout the day. And then the order that I'm going to go into the foundations is I'm going to go from light. This isn't like a worst to best video. This is going to be from coverage. So I'm going to go from light coverage to more of the medium. I don't really have any full coverage foundations. I'm not a full foundation person. So I don't really have that, but I can definitely show you the one that is kind of the one that is going to probably be the fullest for me that I wear. So as we're going through, I'll try and give you the kind of the shade range, like how many shades they have, prices, that sort of thing. But if I forget to tell you, I will put them on the screen as I'm going to, I know as I'm going to edit, I'll put them onto the screen for you guys. Okay, so the first one I'm going to start off with is a BB cream. And BB cream is it's basically, it's called a beauty balm. And it's going to give you very, very minimal coverage. And BB creams are basically a lightweight moisturizer. They're going to even out your skin tone and just give you a very healthy looking appearance. So one of my favorites is the Marcel, and this is a new find for me. So for me to have it in in one of my favorites, it's that one there. But again, any BB cream will do. This is just one of my favorites because it gives you luminosity. I tend to gravitate towards more like luminous, dewy, glowy looks. I am not usually a matte person. I think that just makes my appearance look really dull and a bit tired sometimes. I find if I try it and use like a matte look, I tend to think that matte foundations just make me look even drier than I am. So that's why I always gravitate towards more the luminous kind of looks. I love Marcel products. It's a Canadian brand. This one in particular is very hydrating and gives you just a really natural glow to your skin. So if you tend to like more of a lighter coverage, then yeah, definitely you'd like a BB cream. Next on the list is the L'Oreal Age Perfect. And I did a whole review on this, on the whole L'Oreal Age Perfect line. In my description box below, I'll insert all of the links if I've done an actual specific video on some of these. But I really enjoy this foundation. It is so hydrating and leaves your skin so luminous. Does not settle into my fine lines whatsoever. Just gives you a really, really pretty finish to your appearance. And I'll just do a little swatch on the BB cream and just kind of show you the consistency and the thickness of it. So it is on the thicker side, but again, it is like a moisturizer. And then to blend it in, super blendable. Just gives you like a nice bit of color, like a tint to it. But so creamy. And even some of the bigger like companies have BB creams. So yeah, they're pretty readily available if you wanted to go that route. Now what I love about this one is it is specifically designed for mature skin and sensitive skin. It's a really weightless foundation, and it also has in there concentrated serum and antioxidants. This one does a really nice job of evening out your skin tone, and it does not settle into your fine lines whatsoever. And I believe this one comes in, let me just check. I think this one comes in about like 21 shades. I don't think you can get that many in the store, that you'd probably have to get them online, because I definitely didn't see that many in the store. I think there was like maybe 6 in the store, but yeah, so when I first did my first impression on this, it is very sheer coverage. It's very light. But if you do prefer that sort of thing, if you don't want a really heavy feeling foundation on, and I also like it because it lasted for quite a long period of time. Most foundations, by the end of the day, I'm going to say probably about the 10-12 hour mark, I definitely will notice usually in this area here, down in this area here, it'll start to wear off. But this one lasts for quite a long time throughout the day. So this one is excellent for, especially for mature skin. And then I'll just show you the Age Perfect foundation. Again, just a really nice, it's not too thick and not too runny, very lightweight. Coverage is pretty sheer, but very hydrating. It's just going to give you a really nice, appearance. So the next foundation has been around, it seems like forever actually. This has been a staple in a lot of people's makeup bags. It's the L'Oreal True Match. And I have this one in the shade C2. I am more on the cool tone. They have different formulations for skin tones. So because I'm more on the cooler side, there's ones for if you have warm skin tones. And just to show you the consistency, it is on the runnier side. Very lightweight. But again, blends in so beautifully and lasts incredibly long. But you can kind of see how, you can still see my veins poking through. So that's the kind of coverage, but very blendable. And a lot of these foundations you can use, some like this one here, you could probably just use your fingertips. Again, the BB cream, the Age Perfect one, you could probably use just your fingers and it would be good. I still prefer to use my sponge, or some people prefer to use a brush. Again, it's all everybody's preference of how you want your foundation to look. For me personally, I find when I use a brush, it tends to look a little bit heavier on my skin, which I really don't like that look. So that's why I tend to use a sponge, and I just feel it gives me more of a flawless appearance. And what is so unique about this one here, the L'Oreal, they've made it so that it really does match your skin tones quite well. I'm surprised at how, like one of the foundations is one of those things that's so hard sometimes to color match. But this one does such a really, really good job of color matching specific skin tones. So, and that's, I guess, hence the name True Match. This one is also oil-free. And like it says, all-day wear, which it really does give you all-day wear. Next on the list is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. Now, I think that they also have a matte version of this. Again, because I don't wear matte foundations, I don't usually choose that one. But I heard that that one's supposed to be really good if you have more oily skin. That would be really good for you. But what I do is I mix 2 shades together. So I have shade 201 and 203, and I find that that gives me the absolute perfect shade for my skin tone. But what I love about this one is it gives me just a radiant finish for the whole day. Again, very hydrating. It's a very like a lightweight, very creamy foundation. It's not very thick. So that's why it kind of can give you that lightweight coverage. And again, just blends in super nicely. And each time I'm doing a swatch, I am wiping the old one off, just so you know that this is the fresh foundation going on the back of my hand. But I don't know if you can see, but just kind of gives you just that luminosity that I absolutely love. And I know this is on a lot of people's list for like the foundations that they absolutely love. So I actually had to make my list of favorite foundations. And what's nice about this foundation is you can also build it up to like a medium coverage. I kind of gravitate between light and medium coverages. So this one is perfect, and I love this one in the summertime because it does have that glowy appearance. Also, it says that it will last about 24 hours. Now, I don't wear my foundation 24 hours. My top hours for how long I'm wearing a foundation is probably 16. That's about my longest for the day. So I can't really hold on to the claim if it is 24 hours. I honestly can't tell you that. But yeah, for me personally, it does definitely last through the day. The nice thing also is it just kind of hides my imperfections. Again, I always gauge it by my sunspots that I have on my cheeks. So I always look for a foundation that can do a little bit of coverage there, and this one does a really nice job of that. So next up is one of my absolute favorite foundations. I discovered it, I believe it came out last year, but this one, it just basically feels like you haven't really put anything on your face. It's very breathable, very lightweight, and just resembles how your skin feels, but yet you can build it up to a medium. They say a medium to full coverage. I've never really tried it to build it up that far, but this one here, and it has quite a shade range, but this is one of my absolute favorites. I don't even know if I have enough in here to swatch, so I can get a little bit out on my hand here. I need to go and buy another one, but yeah, it is such a creamy formula. And what surprises me is how lightweight it feels on your skin. And you can kind of see the coverage there. It is covering up my veins. But it will last, it says it lasts for about 24 hours. Again, haven't tried it that long. Where I usually have it start wearing off is usually in this area here. But you would expect that through the day. It's one of the few foundations that by the end of the night, it still looks fresh, like you just have put it on. I have a hard time trying to find foundations like that. Usually they start, all in this area here, it'll start deteriorating in that area. And it doesn't, this one doesn't oxidize. Again, love that. There is a few foundations here, not so much the ones that I've shown you yet. There is some foundations that I don't like that when as soon as you put them on and then throughout the day it'll oxidize. So this one is one of the few that doesn't do that. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought this one won a bunch of awards as well, a bunch of beauty awards. So excellent, excellent foundation. So the next one I'm going to show you, I'm actually wearing this foundation today because I absolutely love it. It is the Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid. And this one actually has a whole bunch of shades as well. So what I really like about this is it's a hydrating foundation, has hyaluronic acid in it and collagen. It gives you like a 12-hour hydrating look before it starts wearing off. And it just gives you like a really natural looking glow, which I really, really like that. Again, you can build it up a little bit. It is more medium coverage. It's very lightweight. It is because of that hyaluronic acid in it. It does give you that dewiness appearance. You can see today, the only thing that it sometimes does is right in here, because I do have a lot of wrinkling in this area here, it tends to kind of just settle just a very, very slight bit in this area. But for the most part, I love the appearance of it. It just gives me a really healthy looking glow, and it just looks really smooth looking on my face and definitely evens out my skin tone, which I really like that. And this one, I did use this primer today with it. So if you were wondering, those are the two products that I used today. But I love the cap on it. It's just like a little pump. It is quite creamy. You can see here it's a thicker consistency and blends in just so beautifully. I can't believe how creamy it feels right now as I'm blending it in. Just a gorgeous finish. But yeah, you can see, again, I try and compare it to my veins, and you can't really see my veins through this, but it's so beautiful. I just love the feel of it. And one thing that just dawned on me actually is if any of these have fragrances, and so far, I don't think I have had anything yet that has any sort of fragrance to it. The only one that may have a slight one is the L'Oreal Infallible. It's not even really like a fragrance. It's not perfumey. It just has some, like a slight scent to it, But so far, all the ones that I've shown you, really, there is no fragrance to them at all. I'm not really sensitive to the fragrances, so that would be one of the things to maybe just before you buy a foundation when you're in the store, just testing it out. And again, if you order them online, I know it's kind of hard to do that. So, but yeah, sometimes they might mention it on the description whether there is any sort of fragrance to it. Just given the fact that there is a lot of people that have, sensitivities to that sort of thing. But yeah, I love the packaging on this one, and it is like a glass. But yeah, the pump, I love it when they have pumps. Again, so like the same thing with the L'Oreal. I love the pump system. I think it just keeps stuff a little bit cleaner that way. So this next foundation is a new find for me. I just had it, I think it was like my last video. I don't know, everything's blending into each other here with videos. So I think it was either my last video that I did. I showed you guys this one. But I've used it a few times since that video, and I absolutely love this foundation. I don't know why I haven't tried it before. It's been around, it seems like, for quite some time. But this, the claims on it is a natural finish anti-pollution foundation. It gives you just like a really nice, flawless look for the day. It's very hydrating. It is like a medium coverage, but it feels very lightweight on your skin. And this actually helps protect your skin from all the environmental damage from being like just even outside. But again, a nice little pump type, and it's quite like it's a bit on the thicker side, but again, very creamy and just blends so beautifully. And they have quite a shade range. I think it said when I was looking, I think it has like 31 shades, and it doesn't really have, there's maybe like a slight, ever so slight fragrance to it, nothing overpowering. It almost smells like a little bit like roses, like a floral, but yeah, it's kind of hard to put my finger on it, but I can't believe how nice this makes my skin feel. And the other things that I like about like hydrating foundations is it almost gives you like a light reflecting particles that kind of give you that luminous glow. And I was saying in my last video, like, I don't know why I don't use a lot of Revlon products. I don't know, it's just not one of those brands that I tend to use. I'm more of, well, you can kind of tell that I've already shown you a bunch of the L'Oreal ones, and I've got a couple of more coming up here. But yeah, I don't know, there's sometimes just brands that I love, and I stick with them and just love their products. So yeah, but I'm very surprised. This is one of the few Revlon products that I've bought recently and really, really enjoy it. So this next foundation, I did a full first impression video on it when it first came out last year. It's the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover. Now it is sort of similar to the Radiant Liquid one. Now what attracted me to this one is it says it was a full coverage foundation, but it feels really light on the skin. And I like just how the packaging is like a little tube. Again, it's not really runny. And again, just blends super beautifully onto the skin. Now, it claims it is a full coverage. I mean, you can kind of see through here. You can't see my veins through that at all. But for me personally, even though I did build it up, because you can build it up, I just didn't think it warranted on my skin anyhow like a full coverage look. I could still see like some parts of my skin poking through. So I'm not sure. I don't know. For me, that was me personally. And then the other claim for this one is it has an SPF 50 in it. So if you do want to have that little bit of extra protection for SPF, I personally don't rely on products that have SPF in them. I use a separate sunscreen on my skin. I just don't think that you could possibly put that much foundation on your skin to get the benefit of like the sunscreen, the SPF. So that's why I just choose to put a separate sunscreen on my skin every day. And the claim also with this one here, it's kind of like the Revlon Candid. The claim is also that it's enriched with antioxidants to help protect against pollution. So, I mean, again, that's a good thing. And it also just, by the end of the day, it does still give me like a really pretty finish to my skin. So I really like this one for lasting through the day. Okay, so another foundation that I know has been around forever is the Maybelline Fit Me. So I have this one in the Hydrate and Smooth. There also is a matte version. I think it's called Matte and Poreless. And I've heard a couple of people, they mix those two together and just get the perfect finish to the foundation. So I do want to try that actually. So I'm going to have to try and figure out which matte one to buy. But I like this one, again, hydrating. It smooths out your complexion. It does have a little bit of an SPF in it. Again, that doesn't really mean anything for me. But this one here, it definitely does give me more coverage. It's buildable, which is really nice. And it just leaves a really natural looking finish to your skin. And like all of the foundations that I've shown you today, none of them that I can tell end up looking cakey by the end of the night. I've had a few foundations that do that, so I have them kind of at the back of my makeup collection. But for the most part, all of these, they just blend really, really nicely. And again, don't have that cakey, dry look. And that's, again, I know I said it probably a million times in the video. That's why I do tend to gravitate more to hydrating ones. If you tend to have more oily skin, a lot of these brands do have either matte versions or they're specifically designed for oily skin. So just watch when you're buying them. But yeah, the Fit Me, again, it comes in a whole bunch of shade ranges designed for your skin tone. And that's why it's called Fit Me. For me, I have the shade 120 Classic Ivory. And this is one of those ones that just lasts throughout the day for me. This one will very, very slightly kind of settle into my lines just right in here by the end of the night. I have very few foundations that don't do that, unfortunately. That's just one of the issues with having, getting more fine lines and stuff around your mouth, and especially around this area here. But yeah, like I said, I think at the beginning of the video, that's kind of how I gauge it, around my mouth and also then on my forehead where I have the most wrinkles. Just kind of blurs everything out, gives just a really nice natural looking finish for the day. And this one, if you're not aware, it is quite on the liquidy side. Again, it's just that little kind of bottle one where you kind of pour it out. Not the biggest fan of bottle ones, but yeah, you can kind of see right there that it'll start running down my hand. And then like really that probably could have done my whole face, even that little drop that I used. But it's a really nice texture and gives you a nice glow for the day. You can see how like on the back of my hand, you cannot see any veins poking through. Now that will dry, again, because I've just rubbed it in. But you can see how hydrating that makes you look. One of my foundations that is definitely more on the fuller side. But what makes these type of foundations nice is just that option that you can build it up if you want a really light coverage that day. Or if you just want to, have a more of a fuller look. And this one does have, it's a really pleasant fragrance. It's not like a rosy fragrance, but it's on the floral side. But again, nothing that's going to, for me, it just wouldn't make me stop using it. I know this is one of the ones that I can get if it's on sale. I think this is like $5, so it is really affordable. So for a nice foundation for that price, I'm all in for that. And then next up is the L'Oreal Visible Lift Foundation. Again, this is a foundation specifically designed for mature skin, and it has pro retinol. Just let me get my glasses. I can't read that small print. Pro retinol A plus vitamin E and C, and the claim is advanced age reversing makeup. And then I just looked up because I couldn't remember a couple of the claims on this one, so I just quickly looked it up on the website here. So it says it's an age reversing serum of 5 ingredients in 1 radiant makeup. It instantly evens out skin tone with a lightweight formula, doesn't settle into fine lines and wrinkles, and it doesn't. And then after 4 weeks, it says that people saw a 92% even skin tone, 90% saw minimized imperfections, 87% saw radiant skin, 84% saw the appearance of wrinkles reduced, and 81% saw instantly more youthful skin. It does give you like a radiant look to your skin. And it does have a slight SPF. Again, I think it's like 17 or 18%, so it really doesn't have a lot in it. Again, like the pump, it's on the thicker side, creamy, but blends in really nicely. It's one of those ones that, again, you can't see my veins through there. But when I have worn it, yeah, I haven't seen the settling into my fine lines. And I love that when companies make a product for more mature skin, because, we do need a few extra things in our foundation. So when it says it has like a serum in it, that's just going to leave your skin more hydrated looking. And it says that it can be used on any skin type. And I like, again, that it just kind of gives you, it's a medium coverage. And again, going back to most of these foundations, and one of the reasons that I like them is they don't really have like like an oxidizing factor to them. So I really do like that. When you put the color on, it stays true all day. So that wraps up my little collection here of foundations that I prefer for my dry, mature skin. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments below if you've tried any of these foundations out and what your thoughts are on them. It's amazing to me still, after the foundations that I use and how many different types there are, and how many just feel like they just do different things. So again, you can kind of tell by my selection here that I do gravitate toward the lightweight to medium coverage. I think that's the best for my skin personally. So before you leave, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and become a little part of my home here on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the little notification bell, and that way you're notified whenever I upload new videos. I hope everybody's doing well, and just keep persevering through these times. I know it's still challenging out there. And as always, I hope everybody has a great week and a great life, and I will see you all very soon in my next video. Bye!